right. Sorry about that, folks. We had mild technical difficulty with the microphone. It should be good now. Hey, Jim, how's it going? Today, because I had a need to rewatch all of Thundar the Barbarian, and when one is a little tired, worn out from a long week, Thundar does a body good. And I can tell you who else does a body good. Princess Ariel from Thundar the Barbarian. I was watching it the whole time. Yeah, I would just don't
Yes.
worry about that.
Also, I was going to restart, but okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay, so
What was I talking about?
Ariel watching Thundar.
I don't remember. Okay. Let's do the thing. Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
She's kind of like Firestar from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Clearly, the animators were having a good time drawing her. And I'm not talking about the moments where the quality dropped. I'm talking about the moments where she was drawn well. And I was watching the show going like, loving all the crazy, wacky stuff going on. And yeah, I do love that cartoon too, Jim. It's so good. And it's funny, when I was a little kid, I didn't think about it. They could have completely just made her a very light-skinned kind of character, but they didn't. They made her like this nice kind of darker tone and black hair and those black eyes and the high cheekbones, and she's a great-looking character. It is kind of like Conan the Barbarian and Star Wars put together. That's kind of what I always figured, with a huge, like a gallon hit of LSD.
Conan the Star Barbarian.
Oh, she's, so and I don't get to pull the Bible out that often, but here it is. I love this book. I love Alex Toth's work. Here we go. It is right there. Ta-da! Original character designs from Thundar. Yeah. I just love the fact that Thundar's and Ukla's legs are like exactly the same height, and then he's all slouched from the hip up. And here's Thundar being all, Thundari. He never did that facial expression. He never went woo in his entire life. He, however, was always very judgmental and angry, which made him a wonderful barbarian. But here is the sweet spot that we're concentrating on today. I got to do Thundar at some point. He is so angry. He's a treasure. He's a delight. But today, Princess Ariel and little go-go boots and all, high cheekbones, blah blah blah. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Quiet, you. Bring this on over. It is one of the shows that perfectly did it. 1994. It's one of those great shows from the 80s and 90s where the world ends in the 90s. The difference is with this one is Thundar the Barbarian happens like 2,000 years later. No Facebook feed.
Yeah, popping up here. That's what I've been trying to fix. I've been trying to get it up here for some
There's
reason.
no Facebook feed.
I'm watching it on Facebook, but for some reason it's not commenting. It's not. There's no. Yeah, it's not.
Oh, it's on Facebook. The feed, the messaging feed. Is that what you're talking about?
Ask them because I can see you on Facebook.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, sweetie.
Yes, I can see you on Facebook, but for some reason there is nothing popping up on the messengers on Facebook because there's nothing.
Okay, so
popping up.
that's what I was asking. The video is there, but the messages are not.
By the looks of it, yes.
Okay,
But
well,
I was saying, Silverbolt. If you cannot see this on Facebook, please let us know.
yeah. To our
Isn't this
knowledge,
so weird?
if you're not able to see this on Facebook, message us real quick here, because on our end everything's coming through on Facebook.
I have to use Twitch.
Yeah, I have to use Twitch. At least I can follow from. Yeah, sorry about that. Something funky happened right as I started, so hopefully
Oh, okay. Because for some reason there seems to be two Facebook feeds. One is showing you, and then the other one is just blank.
Oh, there appears to be two Facebook feeds, according to the little lady. One is working and one is not. That probably had to do with our little technical flub earlier.
Hey,
Oh!
Joe.
Yo, Joe.
Oh, that's okay. You're on Twitch. Okay, that's your Twitch one. All right, right on.
How's it going, Joe? We're doing Ariel today. I'm gonna guess 5'6" of her. That would at least make Thundar 6 foot.
I'm gonna say, because with the boots on, yeah, probably I'm gonna say 5'7", because that was usually around the
I see. So you're trying to one inch me up, one up me.
Gesundheit.
You're trying to do the thing to me.
Okay, yeah. For some reason, the other Facebook feed is just showing we will be starting shortly. Now it went from being blank to we were starting. Wait. Something just kicked in. I'll keep checking on it. Give me a second.
Oh, take that. Well, if there's one feed going, the other one just is some kind of an awful oops.
Wasn't that like a snack product in the 90s?
Awful oops. Hey kids, why don't you have yourself an awful oops?
Yeah, it was like meant with like some really awful, like really bad cartoon character, like the Noid on crack, or was that the what was the honeycomb beastie thing?
Yeah, it's just.
What was it?
What is that little bugger's name?
Crap, yeah, because I am blanking on it.
You're blanking on the honeycomb. Isn't it just a honeycomb bee?
No,
Did he have a name?
No, it was because he was all like brown
I'm
and
getting
fuzzy.
old.
It was the
Disco boots.
Disco boots.
That's Kirby for overly tall women.
Yeah.
Yet they are still the really impressive ones are still impressive in form though, and I don't necessarily always mean that in a sexy way. I mean they also gave them, like really good bone structure and shoulders and stuff, and that's actually why I like Ariel. Is she was a little bit of sexy, and she was a little bit like she belonged in an action show. So she was riding that line. Was he the honeycomb beast?
No, he actually had a name. I'm gonna try and find because I know
beast?
his name. I know that stupid creature's name.
The honeycomb beast. Alright, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do a... just got those nice up-angled eyes. Okay, I'm just going to get some shapes down real quick because I kind of have something in my head and I want to see if I can do it. That's going to require me to just really kind of screw with the lines real quick. So I'm not going to be as exacting as I normally am. I'm just going to try to...
Yep, you're right, Jim. It was the Crazy Craving, yes. that was the name of the honeycomb beast.
That was the name?
The Crazy Craving, yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That is...
Me want honeycomb!
That's not... I don't like that. I actually just... I would have just gone with, like, Phil.
So that was all the other stuff before.
Darn you, Phil.
I mean, if we're coming from like what the Noid, and the Noid was late 80s to early 90s, right? Or was he mid 90s? Was the Noid?
The Noid was early 90s, late 80s, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Was
now you're making me use brain.
I like the Noid.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you're making me think while I'm trying to, draw Ariel. And
all right, we'll go back. We'll leave the Noid alone for now. Avoid the Noid. Yeah, they were trying to bring him back a couple years ago. It didn't work very well. Crazy Craving sounds like a modern day White Castle thing. White Castle's mascot would be the squirrel.
Oh, I tried, but I cannot get into White Castle.
That's all right. It's all good. It literally it's one of those things where I think it's a regional thing because most of my family we grew up on them and yeah, most of it's kind of a thing. It's yeah.
I mean, I get it because like Michigan, we had Hot and Go. I think that was the name
Hot
of it.
now.
Hot and Now.
But it was
And-
that was Illinois or Indiana too.
Yeah, and Hot and Now, and it was just cheap freaking burgers. There's just no doubt about that. But and you knew it, but it was like roughly McDonald's level without the frill. Robots Andre the Giant want big cereal. Yeah. And the thing is that's what I appreciated about Hot Now is it was just super cheap burgers fast without any extra stuff, and it was like McDonald's was always trying to offer you. They knew they had crap burgers. Everyone knows they have crap burgers. Doesn't mean they're not tasty, but
The McDonald's was the experience. Hot Now was just they literally spent all of their revenue on the food and then a building and then some workers because it was drive-through only.
Yeah.
You could walk up and stuff too, but it was no inside stuff.
yeah,
It was
because
just,
the inside was just the kitchen and where the employees went to the bathroom. I
Yeah.
mean, that was it, and I can appreciate, and I think you could get like a quadruple cheeseburger. I mean, they just had, and you wanted to commit suicide via cholesterol. That was the place to go.
Yep, Jim.
But just Hot Now, I just could not get into it.
Drive up 39-cent burgers.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly right. You needed a quick burger.
Yeah, those college days, and we just get like a sack of burgers and fries.
That's
Oh,
right.
Good old days. But back to the drawing, yes. Building was shaped like the Fisher Price lift and load. Yep. I always thought it was the Fisher Price A-frame house myself because I had one of those I have one of those toys. Oh man. But yes, Princess Ariel.
Well, that's what I liked about Thundar is they didn't want to go in and make things too complicated. They wanted to keep it pretty simple. And then just started taking acid. I think that's what I liked about it is like you could tell what the formula was. They come riding in on their horses, they jump over something, crazy adventure ensues. But then, like, every adventure was actually different than all the other adventures.
Yeah, it was a monster of the week or fighter of the week. Quick pause. Hey Matt, we finally got the Facebook stream up there. That's his In and Out animal style changed my life. We didn't have any In and Out burgers around here, man, but thanks for joining us.
Yeah, how's it going, man?
But
Yeah, right now, I'm trying to talk about fast food and draw Princess Ariel from Thundar the Barbarian. I need to concentrate on what I'm doing because my brain's going like fat and salt. I've been stuck indoors for a while. Fat and salt.
I love that band.
I know. Fat and salt. Fat and salt. Fat and salt. There we go. That was bugging me.
Would that be the first single of our one band from yesterday, the Homeless Elite?
Oh, yeah, we have a new band name. It's called the Homeless Elite. We don't know what kind of music it is yet, but we do know that they are the best at what they do.
Now, Prince, did they ever determine the age of what of any of the group? Of what
No.
were their ages?
I rewatched the whole thing, and the one crime I find in Thundar, and I get it, they're not going to do it in that time period.
Nice, Jim.
Peppa. Salt and pepper.
Nice.
Feel like getting a little bit of a pair of glasses with a fried egg. Was it on the right side or the left? I can't quite recall. Salt and pepper.
So push it, to like shove it. Shove it. Shove it real good.
Alright. Getting a little closer to what I'm wanting, but it's still not quite there. Yeah, I was just totally watching her on screen when she was drawn really nice, and I just kept going like, man, those cheekbones, and and then when she's drawn like crap, Ruby Spears, when they draw like crap, it's all blobby and awful, and you could tell somebody was wanting to go home. It's true. I'm not going to sit there and be like, they're gods. It's like, no, they were on a budget. They were clearly trying to get stuff done. But when she was drawn nice, it's like, wow. Excuse me. It's kind of like when they drew the action nice as compared to when it wasn't. You were like, whoa! And then it would like flip back to the they needed to go home animation.
They use very little repeat animation.
There was a couple things we could tell they like re-rotoscoped stuff, but they didn't reuse the animation, which was nice.
Yeah, not too much. I mean, they did the.
Though they probably should have.
Well, they did a lot of it with them riding the horses, of course.
Yeah, that's usually where
the
it
walk
was.
cycles were usually pretty recycled.
Give them credit though; they had fairly decent horses on the show.
Yeah, they did. I was actually impressed with that. Everything else kind of got a little wonky here and there, but
no doubt there. Yeah.
It was at the scene where they would always show them like the horses riding and then jumping over.
Dun, 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 and it'd be like
log.
right here. It'd be a log, or it would be a taxi, or it would be like a popcorn machine in a theater. Dun 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 dun. And my favorite one, okay, usually it went like this, and Ookla would go over it. My favorite one is there was a bush, and he went right in, and it was a trap. And I was like, oh, they tricked me. Nice.
The audience was trapped as well.
and then that's what I liked about Thundar. Every once in a while, they knew to break their pattern, and you were like, "Oh, the adventure's starting early,"
I honestly would love to see a remake, and like I said before,
yeah, I would really like to see it. It'd have to keep the right spirit, though.
I want to see Gennady Tartakovsky get a hold of it, because
that would be good.
I think he would do a fantastic job with it. And,
that would be good.
And make it for the like they did with. Don't make it like too adult. Just make it so that it's
it basically needs to be Thundar, but I would make it a little more mature, a little bit more oomph on the magic and the fighting and stuff, but keep it basically Thundar.
Yeah, Symbiotic Titan it basically.
Yeah. And this is one where I think that it can't be 3D. I think it must remain 2D.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm usually pretty loose on that. I'm like, if it works, it works. But with this one, I kind of feel as if, like, even the animation style needs to be kind of chunky and rough and ugly. And I think there's certain series that works well for it. I think Thundar is one of them.
Which is why I would love to see Tartakovsky get a hold of it,
because he can do it. Yeah,
that's kind of his style. Yeah.
Yeah, he can do rough and ugly. And a lot of people are like, oh, you don't say that. I'm like, no, I think that's a legitimate art style.
Yeah.
I think rough and ugly is a legitimate way. It's like Fist of the North Star. Should be rough and ugly. If you make it too slick looking, it just kind of stops working for me. I actually want to see pencil lines. I want to see brush strokes in the background. I want to see the airbrushing. I want to see the ugly. I want to see the nasty. I think that's where it all starts coming together in certain series.
How the sausage is made.
Yeah, I want to see how the sausage is made. Yeah.
Sausage.
It's like Steven Universe would not work rough. It needs to have that slick toy look.
Which is funny because Rebecca Sugar actually made it so that she's like, I don't care if it goes off model. She's like, that
Well,
makes
no,
it funny.
no, it's loose, but loose and there's
Yeah.
loose and ugly. There's loose and
Clean.
ugly.
Yeah.
You know, and it can be loose and still clean. I'm talking ugly. I'm talking like I want to see it feeling rough, and to me, Thundar feels rough, and it should. Because I think barbarian and like apocalyptic stuff, and that just it looks better if there's some rough there. Sounds like a terrible fat insult.
Nice. It just keeps just getting incestuous in itself.
Yeah, and then there's sloppy animation. You're right, Jim. Where I was watching Scooby-Doo's Laugh Olympics, and there's just moments where you go like, that was an animation mistake. That was clearly somebody got yelled at when that happened.
And when somebody accidentally like moved the cell when they were filming it.
Or my favorite, there's actually the pencil corner marks where the corner of the screen is supposed to be, and here's like the screen, and the marks are like, and so you're seeing the bottom of the character that wasn't finished is just floating, and like the paint is dancing, and you're like. Yeah, I just love the fact that Princess Ariel was the only adult on the show. She's so funny. It's like Thundar would be like, pit of lava, Thundar, jump! And he just goes right into the lava, and then Ookla's like, and then goes right into the lava after him, and like, Ariel runs up, no! Stop! What are you doing? She is so funny. I mean, I legitimately think she's one of the funniest things on the show. Because it's like a mom trying to tell her kids to knock it off. It's so funny to watch.
She perfected the fourth wall looking into the camera.
She damn near actually did it, right?
Before it became super popular, yeah.
I mean, she didn't do it, but she did it. It was like she was just at the point of literally looking in the camera. No, now that I think about it, she might have did it a couple times. Now that I think about it. Plus, Ariel, has fabulous Ariel hair, which is where it's all like one wonderful, sumptuous shape.
She's a princess.
And it's only because of her magic did she have that hair in the apocalypse. Oh yeah, it's the soundtrack too. There were moments where the soundtrack didn't work, like they went a little too disco, but overall, I just da 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 with all the brass and the big freaking drums and stuff. Yeah, Thundar, I kind of wish is. It's either I want it to remain forgotten or I want it reapproached really well. And I want him to remain a jerk and an over-opinionated misogynist. Because that's why he's funny.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying that's why he's right. I'm saying that's why he's funny. It's my favorite scene for Thundar and Ariel is still in the wizard death race during the Death Storm, and they find a dune buggy, and she's like, "I'll bring the dune buggy back with my magic," and then the dune buggy's like, and so Thundar, not knowing what this is, immediately gets behind the wheel, and she's like, "Thundar, maybe I should drive this," and his line was amazing. It was, "No!" And then they just take off like he knows how to drive. You know, like I would have been like, Thundar, you idiot! You don't know how that thing works.
He didn't even know what a
Let the
battery
princess drive. You know.
was. He didn't even know what a battery was. and decides he knows how to operate.
Battery.
Yeah.
Thundar, you need a colonoscopy. Colonoscopy? You know, it's like,
No.
no! Oh, Thundar, we love you because you're an over-opinionated, violent imbecile, and you're just wonderful because of it.
You giant man-child, you.
You enormous man-child. That's why he's amazing. That's why seriously, people are like, well, we got to make him more politically correct. No! God, he's so good because he's so like that overly classic like 70s macho dude. And that's why he's awesome, because he's ridiculous. So good. And that's what I love about Ariel, is she knows it. That's why she's so funny, because she's just dealing with this. Like, she knows his heart is in the right place, but he's an idiot. That's what I love about her. And Ookla is actually far more of a emotionally well-balanced person than Thundar is. And he's a giant, growling, mindless monster that beats things with rocks.
I don't think he's all that mindless.
Well, no, he's not mindless, but there's moments where he is.
I think he's just
He loses control at moments. I mean,
excuse me.
Aw.
Oh, quiet. Pardon. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he does. But I think he's like, he's latched on to them now. So he's like,
oh yeah,
he's
no,
like the little brother.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like he's more emotionally aware. Like he gives Ariel hugs.
Yes.
You know, like he's actually the kind of the dude you want around. Until he loses it and starts crushing things with like a helicopter engine. And you're like, oh crap, he's losing it again. And then Thundar becomes like the smart one. You know? And Ariel just goes like, you know.
Alright, let's see the conversation. See, Jim says, Ookla and Thundar would start beating up an annoying old man and Ariel would have to stop them. Joe says, old man and magic user, any magic user.
I know.
Jim says, often, sometimes some old guy...
Death to the wizards!
Yeah. Jim says, so often, sometimes some old guy asks me for help. And Joe says, exactly, old guy, all I was doing was getting supplies for my kids.
Crush.
Jim says, Thundar gets sick. Ariel explains to him that germs in his body are attacking him from the inside. If it's a fight they want, punches himself.
Exactly right. That's why I love him. Actually, that's why I love all three characters, because they're sort of this wonderful action comedy team. And action, you cannot forget, they're legitimately an action team. I legitimately think this is a good action cartoon.
Yes, it is.
But they're also just like comedically perfect, because they're kind of all crazy in a fashion, and that's what I love about them. Like, you don't understand really why Ariel is with them. Like, she should just be grabbing several of the hot, sexy, smart action babes that's in the show and just go with them and let these two crazy people just lead the way, destroying everything evil in front of them. Then they show up and, you know, make the world a better place, cleaning up after these crazy dudes. And that's why I love them, because you're just like, no, Thundar, what are you doing? Ookla, you don't know better, stop. You know? Dun, dun, dun. You know, so funny, just so good. Like, I'm so serious. Like, if I could get a new Thundar, and I think you're right, Gendy's probably one of the best to do it. It cannot be done in any form of anime. No offense to the Japanese, I love them to death, but they would not do Thundar right at all. This has to remain like it has just that right level of all-American insanity to it, you know?
See, we'd have to see, because there's been some anime companies.
I take it back, the JoJo's people could do it.
Maybe JoJo's, and maybe Studio Madhouse, and quite possibly even Studio, was it Hero? Trying to remember. They were the ones that worked on the last season of the Boondocks
Sure.
and stuff, animation wise and all that.
Well,
So,
no,
like-
I don't mean just animation. I mean project as a whole, like guiding the whole thing.
Okay.
Because you're right, they could just do the animation. When I mean all American Insanity, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
you know, it's like what they did to the Powerpuff Girls. The Powerpuff Girls anime is so off mark that I can't even watch it. I don't even understand how they got to where they were, other than they made it for a Japanese public. And Powerpuff Girls is not that.
They tried to make it all like it felt like they almost tried to make it a Digimon without the Digimon.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
That's not what Powerpuff
Yeah,
Girls
they
is.
had the magical girl power up thingamabobbs, and then they
Yeah,
had the
it didn't make any
devices, and It's
sense.
just like, no, they're chemically born superheroes. They don't need magical power up devices. No.
Well, which is fine that's their thing, and I love it when they get their thing right. But Powerpuff Girls is my example of, and X-Men. X-Men was another one where you're like, what is happening? Why would anyone make these decisions?
And the thing is, the anime X-Men, the opening was really beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
Design-wise
no.
was really cool, but yeah, they took it a weird direction.
Yeah, and when I just look at it, I go like, nope, this needs to have like people understand that it. This is not me saying America is better. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the reason why Thundar worked is because it had that weirdness that we do.
Yeah.
And when I say maybe the JoJo's guys could do it, it's because I think the JoJo's guys understands how to craft weird, and maybe they can get their head wrapped around it, and then juice the weird up even further.
All right, catching up. Oh, hey, Vic was watching with us for a bit. And then, let's see, Joe says Oogla would kill anyone, especially if they attempted to hurt Ariel.
Oh yeah, he would.
And
He'd
then-
just murder the crap out of him.
And then Jim says Japanese Thundar. Ariel has bright pink hair. Thundar has a sword 4 times the size, and Oogla has ram horns. Sounds about
You're
right.
probably about right, dude. And that's the thing. That's what I kind of mean is it's like,
No, Oogla, and they their horses would transform into a mech.
that's entirely possible. That's why I'm like, I don't think. It's also why I'm kind of wondering what modern animators would do with it, because I feel as if an American group could still screw it up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like they would make it like the teen version or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah.
there we go. It's starting to feel a little better now.
Thundar, hi. I've been trying, and I don't know if it's still on Adult Swim's free watch channel or so, but I know Tartakovsky's Primal was up. For
I've been
all-
meaning to
yeah,
see
the entire
that.
thing was up for free, and I've been and that's the thing. I've been kicking my butt because I've been wanting to watch it also. And,
Because that's one of the reasons why I think he could do Thunder right is the
Yeah.
footage I saw from that.
yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier with adult aimed animation, not adult
Yeah.
animation, adult aimed animation. How it's like we ask for those things, but then when we get them, no one talks about them. So
Yep.
that's why most of the time they just go away because no one says anything. Because like, oh well, if no one's saying anything, it must not be what people wanted. Jim says also, Ariel is student body president. Thundar is captain of the football team. Oogla is a foreign exchange student.
I didn't know all the Swedes were so hairy.
And
Swedish sounds funny.
And for some reason, they're all like 14 years old with like bodies of 20-year-olds.
I know. I'm actually for shows with that stuff. I really am. But it's like, if you do G.I. Joe, I want adults. You know, if you do Thundar, I want adults. If you do a new version of Fist, guess what? I want adults. I don't want the kids' version.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do it, like if you're gonna do that, make sure then play it up as the joke. It's like with
Yeah, make it funny.
It was like Cromartie High School.
Yeah, Cromartie was
Those
good.
guys
Yeah.
were like what 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and they were just some of them like just huge bodybuilders. Same thing with like prison school.
Oh, Prison School was perfect.
So
Prison School
messed
was
up.
so ridiculous that it had a level of genius to it. It was so rude, so nasty, so out of control, and so inappropriate, and so funny, and gross, and wonderful. I'm not saying I don't want that stuff. I'm just saying that if you're going to do a serious version of something, let me actually have it. Let me actually really, really have it.
Joe says it can't be done now because Ariel would be written wrong due to force empowerment and agendas. No, I got to disagree with that, man. If you have a group that actually
Gets it?
knows what
Because
they're
she
doing,
is a female empowerment character.
Yeah.
She is.
and if you actually get good writers and people who know what
But
they're
I see your
doing,
point.
yeah, they would do her right. They actually would probably do her better.
Well,
Yeah.
but you need the right group. I share your concerns, dude, because this sort of I get where people are coming from, but I think politics needs to either remain out of entertainment or be done very, very, very smartly. And when you have a female empowerment character, I want real stuff where you go, yeah, that's a strong character. Oh, yeah, that's really well written. Not waving your hands in the air going like, girl power. That stuff to me is so fake. If I was a chick, I'd be pissed.
And to no pun intended, it's patronizing.
Well, no, it is. But that's what I mean. It's not real. It's a silly fake thing. That's, it's like dude power, and it's always like some guy with a huge chin, crushing a beer on his head and going like bro power. It's stupid. I mean, it's funny if it's done right, but it's not real.
It's the equivalent of all of the 90s and mid 2000s cartoons or early 2000 cartoons we got of all the, or even with the 80s cartoons of all the 80s boy cartoons of girls are icky.
I hate
Let's
that
go
stuff.
on adventures kind of thing, and
Let's be guys and fart alone.
yeah.
And you're like, what? This is stupid. What the? Because kids don't actually like adults at all. All adults are stupid. And I'm like, I hate that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely hate it.
It's okay that it's like a character feels that way. But when all the shows are like the adults are stupid or like all girls are icky, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know
The
about
big
you guys,
sisters
but I
are-
liked girls when I was a little kid. I didn't get them necessarily, but I was like, hey, they look fun. Let's go play with the girls too. Probably because I didn't have a ton of friends, so I just tried to like everybody. But
Or my thing is like I got tired of seeing all of the tropes of girls are pink and fluffy, or girls are icky, or girls are mean because they're the big sister kind of telling the little hero what to do kind of things. Like I don't like. I just want to see like a girl do some really cool stuff. I
Yeah.
want to see her go on adventures too.
but I also want to see the girl characters that suck.
yeah.
I want to see all of them. That's why characters are interesting. They're different from each other. It's okay that you have like the ultra sexy character, as long as they're not all the ultra sexy characters.
It says people would put their own take on her instead of letting the character to be the way she was in the show. Kind of like how people could not write Gravity Girl correctly if they did Galaxy Trio again.
Galaxy Trio would be tough for people to get their minds wrapped around these days, but it would be fun if they could. Gendy's another one that might be able to pull Galaxy Trio off.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of because he is a fan of the old school
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
So I mean, because he came from that area and stuff, and he liked a lot of the old school stuff. So he understands and gets a lot of that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, exactly right.
But, like I said, with bringing back Symbiotic Titan, that was kind of an ode to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. That's why the princess in that show was so good. That's also why the macho lone wolf character was so good, because he was that old style character, but then they nuanced him to make him really a lot more fun, you know.
And he mixed in a lot of the old school Hanna-Barbera tropes with a lot of the old school anime tropes and stuff, and just got this really great story of just fantastic proportions.
It's a shame it was never finished.
Yeah. I've been wanting to rewatch it again and stuff. I've been waiting for
I've been actually trying to get my head around watching again because I know how good it is, and then it just stops. It's like, oh, right when it was not only good, but it was getting even better, and it just stops. And it's like, oh.
Yeah,
I hated that. That drove me crazy. I was so mad.
Yeah, no, I've mentioned this before, but one of the writers on the new My Little Pony show was actually one of the writers for Symbiotic Titan, and got a chance to sit down and chat with him. And it's like, dude, what would have happened in the second season? And just all the stuff that he told me, I'm just like, oh,
so good. And I'm actually weirdly glad you haven't told me, because that would just.
Yeah,
that would probably just drive me crazy knowing what could have been.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where I wrote it down and then I put it out of my brain because I was just like,
no. Yeah,
it's never going to happen. It's nice to think about, but I'm just sad because I make myself sad because it's never going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad we got some victories, like we got the Last Airbender stuff and such.
Princess, Joe says, Princess and Symbiotic Titan was the ultimate diplomat. It really showed on Earth. That was one of the few shows where I actually didn't mind the whole teen trope thing in high school, because that normally
works.
It normally drives me crazy because there's so many shows that are set in teen and high school thing, and I hated that.
I actually don't hate that trope. I just hate it when it's only that trope.
I think, and that's what I was getting to. It's like it's one of the ones where I was constantly seeing it, and it's like
it gets old.
It was like high school is the ultimate goal reach, and it's like when I was a kid, I didn't want to go to high school. When I was in high school, I wanted to get out of high school.
Yep, exactly right.
When I was in college, I hated being reminded of high school, so I was like, I didn't care about it. But but that was one of the few shows where bringing the high school trope to go. I don't mind because they actually made it work as part of the show.
Yeah, and they made it work really, really well.
Yeah, as opposed to the meme with like the old guy with the skateboard. Hello, fellow kids.
I mean, that was funny. That's funny every once in a while. But honestly, I'm kind of done with the out of touch adult characters. Do it later. Do it again. Do it later. Do it better. And I realize that I'm an adult saying this, but when I was a kid, I thought it. I like the adult characters. I like the kid characters. I like the old characters. And when it's only one of that group, it's boring. You know? Or
when the characters and you are just all, like you said, with the adult characters being the stinky adults basically, and not having common sense and all that. They're just a foible for the protagonist basically.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, if I guess, but like when it was just all that constantly,
it gets old.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, for example, and I realize that, and I have some criticisms. The original Ben 10 series did suffer a little bit from the
sibling and the stinky girl and the.
But they put an old guy in there that was awesome.
Yeah.
That wasn't an idiot, that knew what was going on, that balanced everything out. And then there were moments where Ben admitted, okay, my cousin isn't so bad. I overall very much enjoyed the original Ben 10. And then I think it got much better when it went to Alien Force and Ultimate Alien or whatever.
Yeah. When they actually made them older and stuff. And
then I thought it really worked well.
Yeah, they did some really neat stuff with that.
And then Omniverse happened, and I don't understand that. That's not my thing. Whoever likes it, cool. Not my thing. Is that
the latest one that's out now?
No, that's the one that happened before the latest one.
I'm trying to remember.
Then the latest one really isn't my thing. Whoever likes it, cool. It's just not my thing. I actually kind of just like the original, essentially.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Joe says Neutron made the show balanced. Yeah, he did. I love it. Yeah, Newton. Sorry, Newton.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. That took me a second.
Yeah.
It's been a number of years since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've actually been wanting them to put it back on streaming so I can catch it again.
It is. It's Symbiotic Titan? It's been on streaming for
Yes, for some, but I'm sorry, I'm getting shows flipped around. Ben 10, Alien Force. Yes. We're talking about too many shows, and I'm drawing a hot chick with some serious lips on her.
You like the lips.
Well, yes.
See, Jim says, for people who like music, many people say you should do it in the style of and like that. I think if someone did remake Thundar, it might be done in a way, in a style that we've never seen or heard of yet. No, like I said, that's to me. I think Gennady would be the best choice for that because he once again he has a love for the old Hanna-Barbera, the old school style stuff, the old stylistic stuff in a sense.
Though he does have a point that there might be like a complete re-envision of a completely other way of looking at it that could be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just saying that of many shows, Thundar had sort of this nice shtick to it. And I think part of the awesomeness of it is sort of that shtick, and I would hate to see it entirely ignored. You know, though I hear what you're saying, because if you do make a new version of it, inevitably you're going to have to put some new stuff in. But if it was like a country western version of it, I don't think I'd understand that at all. You know, and I like heavy metal, for example, but if you made it like the most outrageous extreme metal version, I'd be like, you know, I'm not sure what would be right.
Thundar Kids.
Thundar Kids. Son of Thundar. And the great part is the Son of Thundar is half mock. When you find out that Ookla's a chick and we were misunderstanding people's relationships entirely. Ew.
Jim says Extreme Thundar.
Extreme Thundar. Extreme Thundar.
Joe says, by the way, if this sketch was a print, I would buy it.
I'm actually thinking of doing a color of this. So I've got some stuff I'm working on right now that will be available, hopefully as stickers and prints and such. I'll check this out. Whoop, star. But I'm hearing you because I'm kind of digging it myself. I definitely want to kind of go in and do better with the hair in the final version. But I'm thinking if I did this, I'd probably do sort of that chaotic, splotchy kind of background, like the Thundar backgrounds were kind of like.
Yeah,
Did.
the acrylic,
thing.
yeah. Acrylic gouache watercolor.
Yeah, that nice gouache look.
Gouache.
Gouache.
Oi, honey, you're looking a little gouache. Are you okay over there? You're getting enough water?
Drink some water. You're looking a little gouache.
You're a little gouache, sweetie.
Hey, Thundar, how about some gouache? No! Takes place, yeah, exactly, 3080.
He says, yeah, it takes place in 2009.
What I love is it's 2,000 years later, so
3094 actually would be.
And yet everything from the 90s and 80s is still around. You know, like it was just apocalypsed 20 days ago. That's what I love about the show. It doesn't wholly make sense, but I don't care. That's why it's amazing.
Except now you have like sorcery and magic to go with like your Tamagotchis.
Savagery, super science, and sorcery. God, I love that show.
If you guys remember the opening sequence.
The opening sequence is one of the best openings ever.
There's this creature that whenever when Thundar breaks his chains, that's when he does it.
And one man will break his chains.
I totally want that sound effect. I want that as a ringtone of some sort.
I want that to be the sound that happens when I flush the toilet. Dun, 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 dun. So good. I don't know how anything worked in the year 3000, but it must be the sorcery. It must be the sorcery. Oh, there we go. As I just got shavings everywhere. I just.
That does look nice, huh?
Yeah, it ain't bad. It ain't bad. Boop. All right. Now I'm going to forget entirely over this next week that I did her. And I'm going to decide on what goes here. And I'm wondering who's going to luck out. Thunder goes back. Kind of wretched sorcery, isn't it? No!
Smash!
Wards of light! Thunder!
It's funny, his war cry sounds like a braying donkey.
Actually, that's what's awesome is he has a really specific war cry, which is really cool. That whole Yahee! It sounds ridiculous, but then when you listen to it in the context of the show, you're kind of like, this is cool. This dude's got it down. That would scare the heck out of me if I saw that sweaty dude just flying at me.
The giant bear suit.
And I'd be like, who's the hot chick? Oh.
And then Oogly just tosses you to a lava pit.
Your 1990s technology confuses and angers me. That's wonderful.
We stayed at my uncle's house.
All right. Well, everyone have yourself a good week. I need to be getting some food stuffed in this gob, so...
Thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you very much.
Love always talking to you guys. Appreciate you.
And we will